So you're ready to start working on rewinds when you're stunting, and you're wondering about how can I get stronger? How can I prepare for this specific skill? Or let's say you're already working on them and for some reason you're just not quite getting all the way to the top. In this video, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how you can improve the strength for your rewinds. And if you're learning them or you're just getting started, these are great exercises to get the ball rolling. Stick with me. So two very important roles in this stunt, our back spot and our bases. There's a lot going on that can be a little daunting if you've never worked on them before, because we're having our top girl flip over us and we're trying to find feet. So in order to get the top girl high enough, we have to make sure that we're generating enough power. And today I want to show you some exercises that are going to help our bases and our back spot to generate speed and strength to be able to get our top girl high enough so that they can catch it at the top. Now for this exercise, or for these exercises, you're gonna need some sort of resistance band. For today's video, we're gonna be using a tube-shaped band with handles, but you want to have something that you can anchor down and use as resistance. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is our back spots. So our back spot for this particular stunt. We understand that we're gonna be grabbing our top girl at the waist. As she comes over the top of the body, we're gonna be exploding up, pushing through the hands and spotting for the feet. And a way we can build strength with this is to take our band and anchor it off at either the tumble track on the lower portion or something heavy enough on a low point that we can pull against it without it coming loose or without it moving what we've got it tied off on. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our band, we're gonna hold the band out in front of us with our two handles. From here, we're going to mimic the movement that we would have in a rewind, which would be following our top girl and exploding up through the top. Now with this exercise, we aren't actually going to be pulling our top girl. I do recognize we're not pulling our flyer into us, but working on that back strength of being able to control the top girl as she comes back is very important. Once we get the bands to our shoulder, we're going to turn over with our hands and explode up overhead and extending also through our hips, because we want to make sure that we're not keeping the top girl in front of us, because if we do, when she flips, she's gonna flip away from us. So our motion again is to bring the top girl to us, extend the hips and throw overhead. So with our band, again, grabbing with the handles, pulling to you, and then from here, extending through the hips, extending through the arms and pressing overhead. Then we will return back and repeat that. If we're doing this at first and it seems awkward or seems odd, what I would say to do is to start with just working on the pull back to the chest. So we're here, pulling back to the chest, getting the hands in the position that we want before we extend the hip. Once that feels comfortable, then we would work on pull to us, extend all the way up overhead with one fluid motion. Again, our goal here is to make this as fluid as we can, not making it or taking out the choppiness of it, and also work on fully extending and reaching with both arms overhead, controlling the band and going back down. For this exercise, if we're using it as a strength training, what I would suggest is 3 sets of anywhere from 8 to 12 reps. And again, over time, working on increasing our band resistance. If we're using it as a primer, any resistance will do. We just want to go through that motion of pulling to push, making sure that we're getting full extension with the hip and full extension overhead. For our bases, we're going to do something very similar, except instead of trying to extend the hips and reach overhead, we're going to be focusing on more of translational strength. We're going to take our same band, anchored off at a low point. We're gonna grab the other handle with one hand, and from here, we're gonna focus on a squat to press, but we're not gonna go straight overhead. We're going to angle towards where our back spot would be. So holding our handle, we would start in that squat position. From here, we're going to aggressively turn our hip and press up overhead, almost like we're gonna throw a ball beside us. Again, starting in that squat position, aggressive hip turn, pressing all the way up through the hands and then return back. Now, bases, we want to be able to alternate from one side to the other, making us more useful in our stunt group. So I would suggest working both directions on this so we don't create a bias only going one way, and it will help to increase your ability to generate force, rotational force over your back spot, regardless of which side of the stunt you're on. Again, same thing here. If we're using this as a primer drill, any resistance will do, just working on that explosive turn with the hip, pressing through the arm, anywhere from 10 to 15 repetitions on each side. If we're using this as a strength building drill, our goal would then be to increase resistance and also increase the speed that we're able to generate that motion. Big important piece for this on both of these is that we're making sure we're starting low. We don't want to stand high. when we're doing this exercise, just like we wouldn't want to stand high doing the skill. We want to make sure that we're getting into a low position, we're extending through the hip overhead if we're the back spot, or we're extending through and exploding if we're the base. Thanks so much for joining me for this video. I hope these exercises are helpful for you. If you are looking for more videos on how to improve your stunting, click on the link that's up top. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, click the link here, hit the bell for notifications so you know when we come out with brand new videos for you guys. We'll see you next time.